Hello everybody, welcome back to Gooner Gathering. My name is Posh Bertie, the poshest man in all of sports entertainment. And joining me as always is a very tired Gooner Lee Meads. I'm quite tired too, but that's because I watched Arsenal play yesterday and it cures insomnia. How are you?
Marvelous. I'm fantastic, Posh. Yes, I'm full of beans. I'm drained, mate. It's been a long old day. But do you know what? It's nice to be here. It's nice to be here and talk to the masses about what went on last night. I'm looking forward to talking about Ebbsfleet.
You know what? Ebbsfleet, it's a normal routine. For Arsenal, this is, we won. You're right there. But, oh my God, things need to be addressed. It needs to be
Did I?
addressed, absolutely. Yes. I'm sorry, but the performance that we witnessed from Arsenal yesterday was nothing short of disgraceful. At the Emirates, home to Shakhtar, and we put on a display like that, uninspiring. Just as AFC always says, Liverpool will be licking their lips after watching us last night. Good to see you, AFC always. Yeah, we've also got a huge defensive crisis, which I'm sure we'll get to in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, overall, that performance was awful. And let's be clear, the goal that we scored, was heavily reliant on a deflection from the goalkeeper.
Is this where you're throwing it to me, mate?
Yes, essentially.
Okay.
But also, first of all, hello to AFC Always as usual, and hello to Russ Morgan.
Absolutely good to see everybody here, and give a shout out to anyone who'll be watching us later on the playback as well. Look, ultimately we've started our Champions League campaign undefeated. We've had a draw and we've had 2 wins. Now, I'm not gonna come on the channel and tell you that it was the most exciting game that I've ever watched. I'm not going to do that. You said it was a disgraceful display, right? I might have agreed with you had we not won, but we did win. We'll try and sort of cut through the weeds a little bit in terms of how we got there, but ultimately we needed last night to respond some way, somehow, to a disappointing result that happened on Saturday. We responded by winning the match. And again, I'm not going to say it was the most exciting game. I'm not going to say we were fantastic. But what we did, we managed to keep a clean sheet and we won the match. Now, come to the later stages of the competition, provided we get in there and bear in mind the start that we've made in the competition, we've started, in terms of the points collected, 3 points plus 3 points plus 1 point. Oh, let me just that comes to 6 points. I don't think that's too bad. Now, obviously, we're dealing with a different
7 points.
7. I did. It's a long day. I've got enough fingers and stuff. I'm not sure. Where am I? Who am I? But essentially, my point is we've made a decent-ish kind of start, and look, we will see how if we get to the knockout stages and beyond. I'm not even sure we're going to remember what happened last night. To be honest with you, I mean, I'm struggling to remember. To be honest, right now, honestly.
Yes, well, you mentioned responding to a loss against Bournemouth. We responded to a game where we played absolutely dreadfully to being absolutely uninspiring at home and boring everyone to death. So, yeah, and we've got a high-flying Liverpool side at home with a lot of injuries.
I'm looking forward to it.
People are saying that Saka will be available. I don't think he will. He'll probably be on the bench, if anything. and I don't think either Timber, Calafiori, Odegaard obviously won't be available, and Saliba is suspended. There is a chance before last night, Shakhtar only had one shot on target this competition.
Yep.
They had one shot.
Good stat, mate.
Then it resulted in a tremendous save from David Raya. So that's one positive I can take in that game. Raya made a good set off his forearm as well.
It was outstanding. Let's deal with that chronologically, shall we?
Yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself.
You're getting too excited, aren't you? I know you are.
Do you want to speak about the goal that was a shot from Martinelli, but was a ricochet off the keeper?
What I'd like to talk about first, because we're sort of rushing ahead of ourselves a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm not going to necessarily say I agree with everything that happened last night from the get-go, because let me just sort of bring it back to the starting lineups, because there would have been changes that I would have made. And hear me out a little bit, because we know we've had a few injuries along the way. We knew that Calafiori had a little bit of an injury before what happened last night. We knew Ben White was just coming back off an injury. Obviously, Saliba's got his suspension coming up on Sunday. Sorry. What I might have done, and this might have come back to bite me, because Shakhtar put up a hell of a fight, and credit to them for doing so. I might have rested Gabriel last night. It was just something that came to my head, because then obviously Saliba would have played. I might have played him with Kivior, because Kivior needed some games, because I think he's a confidence player, and I think Kivior is the most likely candidate to come in at centre half over Sunday. So I might have played him there. Obviously, White came. He started his second game back after his injury. He only lasted 45 minutes. We'll get to that in a bit. I want to say something about Gabriel Jesus, if you'll allow me. I don't think giving the captaincy to him is a pressure I don't think he really needed, to be honest with you.
I was shocked. I was surprised when he had the captain's armband. I thought they'd given it to Gabriel or something like that.
I would have done exactly that, mate. I would have done exactly that. Gabriel had it on Saturday, and I would have kept him with it, because I think Jesus needed to concentrate on his game. That's what I thought he needed to do. I don't think he had a terrible game, but what I do think he was, when the chances came away, he was a bit wasteful, as were Arsenal in general, is probably my overriding thought. How in depth do you want to go with the analysis, or should we just go to the goal?
I actually want to, first of all, address some comments in the chat, and then I'll get to a point that you raised about Gabriel. Russ Morgan says sometimes you need to win and play badly. If this was away to Tottenham, for example, or away to Man City or whatever, I'd agree with you, absolutely. But when you're at home to Shakhtar, a team that I can't remember where they were in the entire league, but they were around the 20s, around that time, around that ranking. You could have just gone for it. Prove to me that you can play. We can play our best without Saka and Odegaard. You could have done it, and it's just the way it was just. It was boring. It just wasn't pretty uninspiring. And of course, we'll get to Trossard in a minute as well. AFC always 20 years without a league title, 30 without a European Cup, 31 without a League Cup, 4 years without an FA Cup. All comes to 85 years without winning those trophies.
Do you know what? That's Scott Steiner levels of maths there. So cheers for that, AFC always.
Yes.
Listen, I get what you're saying. I was around, mate. I watched that game against Parma with my head in my hands and sort of crouching underneath the sofa because it was hard to watch.
But it's a
Because
final. You'd allow it to get this intense.
It was intense, I can tell you that much. But again, the 1-0 to the Arsenal from that campaign was something that's always lived with me. But
this is the thing. If that performance, if we won 1-0 and we put in that performance yesterday in the Champions League final, I wouldn't have cared. I'll be celebrating. But it's not the fact. This is a group game at home to a team that, let's be honest, we should be beating, with all due respect to Shakhtar.
Well,
so,
you say that, and you had that same sort of attitude against Bournemouth. If the game was played on, just let me finish. If the game was played on paper, it'd be a piece of cake, wouldn't it? Unfortunately, sometimes things didn't click, and I don't know if Arteta was trying to accommodate Jesus into, because it seemed to me. What do you think of this? It seemed to me that Havertz was more towards the right, and Jesus for the start of the match was more down the middle. And I don't know if that was to accommodate Jesus. I don't think that necessarily worked very well. I want to credit Martinelli for looking the most lively player on the pitch for us.
He was our best player for the whole game.
I think by a country mile, actually.
I think, carry on.
No, go on. You carry on. Carry on.
Yeah, I was going to say for the whole game, Martinelli. If Thomas Partey stayed in midfield, he'd have probably been a contender for player of the match, because I think he was probably our best player in the first half. The way he was playing in the midfield, in our first Champions League game this season, I thought that I was going to admit defeat to myself and say maybe he is a bit past it. Maybe it is time to move on. But ever since I said that, he's played well. Yeah. And then in response to that, in the second half, our tactical genius of a manager plays him at right back when he was playing so well in midfield. Now, I know that Ben White got a second yellow. But
no. He didn't get wait, stop. He didn't get a second. He got a booking in the first half. He was also just back from his injury. So Arteta decided to take him off. He already said, actually, in the press conference before Bournemouth, that our right-hand side, we were stretched. And what he meant is that obviously Tomiyasu, who's a more than adequate replacement for him, he was out. Timber is still out. I don't believe he's been training today either. So obviously that limits Arteta's options a little bit. What he kind of did, I don't even think the Partey was actually at right back. No, I don't. I think it was more of a 5-man midfield with the three at the back, with Calafiori lining up with Gabriel and Saliba. That's how it looked. I know essentially when they were without the ball, we would have been in that sort of position, kind of like when Zinchenko plays and it goes the other way, when Ben would stay at right back, essentially, with the two halves, and Zinchenko would go a little bit further forward. But I think we are getting ahead of ourselves. We need to talk about the goal.
Yes.
And then we'll talk about anything else that you want to do.
Okay. Just two more comments from both from AFC always. The Bournemouth game was where the leadership from the manager. The Bournemouth game, where was the leadership from the manager? Where was the leadership from the captain? Where was the leadership from the team and squad? Well, we're going to talk about the Shakhtar game, but I do agree with you there. The Bournemouth game was a horrible watch. And I actually think, looking back on it, even with 11 men, it wasn't particularly that inspiring. Who knows what the scoreline would have been if we had 11 men, but even we were saying, both of us, it wasn't the most enjoyable watch before the red card, wasn't it?
I agree. I think I said the first 20 minutes was hard to watch. It wasn't the most exciting. And then I think a combination of errors. I'm not going to point the finger at just one person because I think it goes as a team, right? It goes to Trossard playing a bad ball towards Saliba, and then Saliba was put in an awful position, and he decided to try and make the tackle. That's what your defensive instincts would do. They'll try and say, "Oh, can try and win the ball." Unfortunately, he didn't. I want to go on record, especially with you, saying that I actually had not really an awful lot of complaints, because I think I said on the live commentary, I think he's in trouble here.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily subscribe with the idea that, oh, they're all against us and all that sort of thing, because from I'm unfortunately I wasn't prepared for talking about Bournemouth here, and I haven't got names written in front of me, right? But the guy that got brought down, he had a fair bit of acceleration on him, and he probably would have gone through. I don't really have an awful lot of complaints about the red card. All right, so that's just my opinion. But then,
Bournemouth games show me that we are a one-man team when Saka plays.
I think you're missing another player. I think the captain's quite influential as well. I think that the fact that we were missing two of them, we're trying to. I thought that Trossard would be pretty decent going into Odegaard's position at number 10, basically. Unfortunately, it appears to me that Trossard sort of hit a bit of unfortunate form, I would say. But you're going to say, well, why isn't he playing Ethan Nweri then, right? That's what you're thinking. I know you are.
He's the only suitable cover we have for him.
And I don't understand why AFC has gone against Marino here. I don't understand what he's done wrong.
He's a third choice. I don't know. I didn't watch much Real Sociedad. I kind of only knew Marino from him scoring the last-minute winner against Germany in the Euros.
Yeah.
That's how I mostly know him from.
I said to just trust the bench, says AFC always. What I think is doing, it's very easy to talk about, throwing a young kid in. And we've done that in the past. We've done that for the likes of Wilshere, for example. Right, Jack Wilshere, when he came into the side, very, very young.
Yeah.
What did it do to him? Ultimately, he got too much first-team football. He picked up a nasty injury, and he was never the same since. Yeah, Russ says he watched Marino since he was at Newcastle. Yes, that seems a long time ago to me. What I think I'm trying to say is that Arteta, I think, as much as we want to see the young kid come on and make an impact, I think he's trying to shield him a little bit. I think he's trying to protect him a little bit. Because can I finish my sentence and then I'll let you have it, please? Thank you. And I think he'll come in next midweek against Preston, and that is, I don't want to say a less pressure environment, but it's a different environment. It's against different level of players, with no disrespect to Preston. If you understand how well Shakhtar played yesterday and how organised they were, that would have been a blimmin' tough game for a young 17-year-old kid to play in, wouldn't it? There wasn't a lot of space out there. There wasn't.
No, So why did Lewis Skelly come on then?
He came on because he had to play left back.
Okay, so if he can come on, then look, I don't know what Arteta has with. He only seems to bring Nwaneri on now in these games. Like in the Bournemouth game when it was game over, he brought him on then. If we were losing, he'd have brought him on with 5 minutes to go. Anyway, let's just can we talk about the goal now?
Yes, of course you can.
Yeah.
I mean,
off the goalkeeper 1-0. Your thoughts?
I'll give credit for Martinelli because he showed nice pace getting into the penalty area. The shot obviously, needed a bit of help off the goalkeeper. It kind of reminded me actually of Jorginho's goal against Aston Villa when it came off Emmy and then went in a little while ago. Wasn't special, but I think he needed it though. I genuinely thought, he had his moment. It's a shame, obviously, it's going to go as lone goal because it had to be. But it was his little bit of play, his little bit of individual skill that got him that little bit of space, so he's allowed to have that shot. And it was the only goal. You might have thought after a scoring, I believe it's somewhere around the 30-minute mark, you might have thought that they might have moved on a little bit from it. And there were chances. There were other chances. Unfortunately, Arsenal were wasteful. And I think you'd agree with me.
Almost if we need a striker or something. AFC always says we had the best defence last season. We look worse. Did you know that Nottingham Forest have conceded less goals than us last season? This season, sorry, I beg your pardon. I mean, look, yes, we are only a few games into the Premier League.
Yeah.
But I remember someone said that we were going to beat the record for least amount of goals conceded. Not sure we're going to do that this season, but yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's a stat. I mean, in all fairness, I didn't know. That's interesting. I don't know if that's going to last the whole season. Honestly, do you? Realistically,
hopefully not. No, I don't think it will. Famous last words.
What about AFC? Always comment here. We needed to sign players like Fabian Ruiz, Alomo, Elise, Eze, for the strikers, Tony, or how do you say his name? Gyökeres. And I understand he scored again in the Champions League. Yesterday, yeah, I know. Let's look at one name in there. Eze. He's had an absolute nightmare of the start of the season for Crystal Palace because he's one that I've kept an eye on. But for the other, I can't really talk for the other guys there, to be honest. I never thought Tony was a realistic option because you know what? I think it's the same sort of Aubameyang kind of attitude situation, which we are going to clash upon, and I don't want to do that.
I don't have the energy to argue with you on this.
So, good, I win then. Nice. Russ would sign Eze. That's interesting. That is interesting.
Yes, I think he needs to be rescued. He needs to be rescued, I think.
He's had a tough start as of Palace, in all fairness. But we're here to talk about Arsenal, so I will try and keep it with Arsenal. I don't know enough about some of the other players mentioned up there, to be honest with you, because I struggle to keep up with watching Premier League outside Arsenal, if I'm honest with you. I don't have the time or energy. But look, there's certainly a chance that I want to talk about, and it was kind of taken off. Whose eyebrows was it taken off when Jesus managed to get into the penalty area after the goal? He put a ball over. Was it taken off Havertz's eyebrows?
Oh yeah, it was not even barely a whisker away.
Yeah,
we're whisker away from scoring. Jesus almost put it on a plate for Havertz, but it kind of like went away from him.
It was millimeters away, to be honest, and that. And I think we might have just needed a little bit of luck in front of goal. And I can see your frustration in even trying to talk about the whole match.
Because it's just... I just think of some of the games we played in the Champions League last season, like against home to Sevilla, for example. We were so good in that game. And Lens as well. I know some might think that Shakhtar might be better than Lens, but still. And I wasn't expecting a 6-0, by the way. I'm not that deluded. But we played. I just wanted to see what Arsenal are known for: free flowing, nice football, like we're used to. And I will say it: we have turned into the London version of Stoke.
Oh, crikey, mate, that's harsh. Well, I think what you're getting at is the setup in midfield is being cautious. I think what you're saying, rather than being super adventurous, is what. And what I think you mean is, I want to see this young kid in Nawari get us some games, and despite. But can you imagine? You know, he's featured a little bit in the Premier League. Don't you think throwing him into like yesterday? I might have started him, by the way, against Bournemouth. By the way, just so you are clear, I might have done.
I've always argued he should have started against Southampton at home.
Right.
And he didn't even get a feature at all in that game. And I said, if you're not going to include him in that game, when aren't you? And it's just
he will gradually get into the first team. He will. I'm certain of that, because he already has picked up some first team appearances. He will get a first team appearance, at least one, during the next week. I'm sure of that.
Okay. AFC always says Ben White has been atrocious. What has happened to him?
Gosh.
He says he never watched football. Maybe he should have done. Ben White, he was taken off in the first half because A, he picked up a yellow, and B, he is still recovering from an injury.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I believe
wouldn't say he's atrocious.
first...
I wouldn't say that, but I think
I thought he actually had a pretty good first half, actually, because he was supporting down the right, wasn't he? I thought he was doing pretty good, but then I think Arteta said himself it was his decision to pull him off at half time, because I think he was just trying to be careful with him. I really hope he plays against Liverpool on Sunday. I'll tell you that much, because I think if obviously, with the players that we know might be injured as well, I think. I mean, I don't know if we want to talk about Calafiori here. The fact that he stretched, and he's got a scan tomorrow. He overstretched, and he's going to have a scan tomorrow. I believe. We don't really want to be seeing maybe our first choice fullbacks missing alongside Saliba, do we really?
There is a chance at the moment that our back four against Liverpool will be Thomas Partey, Gabriel, Kivior, Zinchenko. I am very glad that I'm not going to be part of the watch along in that game, because I think, oh boy, oh.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I will be, so I hope you can join me.
Yeah, I have. Look, we'll talk about the Liverpool game in another video, probably on Friday, maybe. BX, good to see you in the chat, by the way. Yeah,
great to see you, mate.
I almost forgot. I was going to raise another point with you that you mentioned, because I'm not going to let you get away with this, sir.
Go on.
You mentioned about resting Gabriel for this game. Now, I remember way back last year, before we played Lons away from home, I made
this is when you said to arrest Saka, right?
I made the suggestion that because Saka was I know hindsight's a wonderful thing based on our recent jokes, but you know how he limped off against Bournemouth, and it was a bad one as well, against Bournemouth of all teams, funnily enough. And that was a bad one. I said, look, we've got Man City as our next game. Saka needs to be fit for that. I would drop Saka for this. And you went, what on earth are you on about? Why are you not playing Saka in the Champions League? And he played and got injured. So, so you don't mind resting Gabriel for this game, but when Saka was on, like, again, I said if it was FIFA, he'd be on the orange or red bar of fitness. You'd play him. That's a bit of a contradictory there, don't you think? Explain.
Interesting. And it's a great point to make. Yeah. But what can I say? Look, don't you think? How can I put it? I always gonna play Saliba. in the game yesterday. That's for sure. But when you have a suspension, and when you have someone like, there was always a question with Ben White as well. To be fair, I wasn't sure he was going to start yesterday. It's a case of trying to. Do you know, like Saka is one of our key attacking players, right? Yep. And I think he's the exceptional attacking player. Maybe I feel or felt that the defense maybe is a bit more room to maneuver. In hindsight, Posh, what did I say? I just said that I would have, I might have thought about resting Gabriel. But if we'd have done that, I think it might have come back to bite me in hindsight. And because we needed to be on it defensively, otherwise we might have got done.
Okay,
I take your criticism. I take your criticism, and I understand where you're coming from, mate. I do get it. Maybe Saka's more of a flair player. That's the word I'm looking for. Saka's more of a flair player, and maybe Gabriel as a defender. And I said Gabriel is our most consistent defender. It has been for quite some time. But we cannot do without him against Liverpool on Sunday.
Saka is a flair player, and we don't mean Rick. AFC always says, I've got a song for Man United fans. 85 million down the drain, Anthony doesn't get a game. There you go. AFC always.
Do you know what? Yeah, it's hilarious making jokes, but I think as you and me are probably thinking at the same time, when we're not playing our best, I think I'd concentrate more on us.
Yeah. He says you're in a hotel room away on business. He asks.
No, this is Gooner Gathering headquarters. What did you expect to see out the window? Sydney Opera House? That's a 40
Dominic
Towers
Palmer.
reference.
Yes, Dominic Palmer. Good evening. Good evening, sir. We had a penalty, didn't we?
Can I just say, Dom has got a mean sense of humour towards me. I can tell you that much. He, I don't know if you saw his comment on my little video before the kickoff yesterday. He said I was going to give a window into my thoughts of the starting lineup yesterday. Now, let me just share a fun little story with the crew. Shall I? Hello, Emerson, as well, mate. It's good to see you as well. We went off air, maybe not in the best of moods on Saturday after the Bournemouth, right? And as I discussed on the phone with Bertie yesterday evening, I had my mother-in-law around. It was just behind me in the shop, right?
I didn't know that.
He did not see it. He did not see it. So we called a cab to get Ma home. We call her Ma. Okay. The cab showed up in the wrong car park. He showed up to my left, as I am right now, where the other flats are. I opened the window in my daughter's room. You all know Amy. Opened that window. I saw the cab. Unfortunately, the bracket in the window broke, and it ended up a bit on the wonk. And I ended up getting very stressed and very upset, and I had to call in a emergency guy to repair and board up that window. It's still boarded up now. It's a nightmare, and I got a feeling this guy, and I won't name him because it's not very fair, but I think he took me for a ride on the old money, and it's not very funny. And Dom, I will address AFC always there. Dom is so good at what he does. When he's made his appearances on our channel and beyond, True Gooner, shout out to you. He may be on air right now, but when he's cameoed on Josh as well, Dom is so good. and he's far more professional than we will ever be.
He might start one in November. Aim is for 10 subscribers. Go on. Perfect 10. Absolutely. I will undoubtedly subscribe to your channel if you ever start one. Let's talk about the penalty. It came like an RKO. It came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was went down to VAR.
Well, it was Marino who came on at half time for Benjamin, who whipped that cross in. I don't think any of us would have seen. I see it. I don't think any of us would have seen in real time that the ball was sort of beaten down like that by the Shakhtar defender. It went to VAR. Of course, eventually it was given. I don't know if Trossard would have been my first choice as a penalty taker. I might have given it to Kai, honestly.
Yes, I was about to say that, because if he scored a goal, he'd have been He'd have scored it. Would have been one of the first players. I can't remember what the exact record would have been broken, but he would have been one of a few
scoring
players
in the home games.
In 8 consecutive home games.
That's right.
He's taken penalties before, both for Arsenal and for Germany, and yet, for whatever reason, Trossard took it instead, and he missed it. And it was a bit of a theme, really. All these underwhelming things. Even though we won, it just doesn't feel like it, because overall it was just a drab performance. And
you were very harsh on Trossard, weren't you? On Twitter, mate.
Well, first he gets sent off against City, and then he misses a penalty. I deleted that tweet. I thought it was harsh, but it's just, I was just frustrated with that game, because I know we were winning, but it was awful to watch.
Yeah, it wasn't fun to watch. No, you're right. What I was going to say was, you were very harsh on Trossard with the missed penalty. At least the guy got the shot on target. Let's give the goalkeeper a smidge of credit, because there's not many goalkeepers who would have scored an own goal and saved a penalty in the same match. So fair play to him. He kind of redeemed himself. Had Trossard missed the target, that might have been at least he didn't commit that cardinal sin, right?
Yes, and I'm actually defending Kai Havertz here for once. He should have taken that penalty.
Yeah,
he should have.
I agree.
But yeah, what else was I gonna? I mean, it just sums it up really. A lack of finishing, a lack of as you said, and it's just we're gonna come back to this constantly. Any Arsenal fan, not just an Arsenal fan, any football fan would have looked at Arsenal before the start of this season and said they need a striker. They need a proper number 9, not a makeshift.
You miss Eddie,
not a makeshift one in Kai Havertz or Jesus. No, a proper number 9.
Well, he is a proper striker. What are you talking about?
Like the aforementioned former Brentford player, or Gorkarez, or someone like that. Because if we did, I'd have been confident of us winning the league. I really would have been, if we had an actual striker.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have been confident of us winning silverware. But for whatever, it was the one position that was so obvious to everyone that we had to fill in. But instead, we decided, for a start, we took ages to sign Marino. We could have got that deal done easily, quicker.
Says
but
you.
We waited till the last possible moment. We waited till the last possible moment to realise, oh, hang on, we're a bit light in attack. Hello, is that Todd Bowley? Yeah, can we raid your lost property bins again, please? We've got a few hours left, and I've just realised I made a mistake. And whoa, you lucky I'm not talking about Sterling. He had another blinder today, didn't he? Not today, yesterday. Oh.
Hang on, he only played as substitute for 20 minutes. He didn't do that bad. What are you talking about? What? I really kind of take issue with that. Oh, that's Harry. Hello, mate. Scarfy Spurs talk. Hello, mate. It's good to see you there. Harry Scarf, Tottenham fan in the house. Be nice to him and subscribe to his channel. He's a good guy. Potentially, I might be making a cameo appearance next month over on the Spurs channel. Can you imagine?
Crossing the floor.
Absolutely. But look. I mean, you've always said, oh, about the Chelsea reject bin and all that. Well, look, Havertz has come good. Jorginho's always done well when he's come on. I don't understand. You're not even giving Sterling half a chance. He's already scored his first goal for Arsenal in the cup. He'd more than likely
against the League One side.
Good. At least he scored, eh? I don't subscribe to that at all. AFC always, mate. Lee, if Arteta doesn't win the league, we are Tottenham in red under Poch. No, and no.
What's the difference? Look, if we don't win anything this season, let alone league, what's the difference? What is the difference?
What about if we do? What if we do win something, eh? I think we will.
Then we won't be, and I will congratulate Arteta for that. But if we don't,
even when you concede a goal, you're on his case, and you're in a dreamland, mate. If you think that we're going to go the season without even conceding a goal, unfortunately,
I didn't say that.
Oh, Harry,
when did I say that?
Oh no! Every time you look at your reaction to the goal, or look at your reaction to a red card when you're throwing stuff around the place.
Because I knew what was coming after the red card. I knew it would be awful. Park the bus, defending for our lives football, and we lost the game. I was right. So
good for you. Do you want a medal?
I deserve a medal after watching Arsenal the past 2 games.
I deserve a medal because I stayed on the stream for the whole game.
Oh my word! Yes. Harry says he's going to convert you into a Spurs fan. I mean, your trophy drought is a little bit longer, I think.
Leave the memories alone, eh?
And I do agree. And I do agree with Harry there. We do have to win something this season because
win a couple. Why not?
We could, because I said if we don't win the league, but we win a FA Cup and Carabao Cup double, that would actually be good, because we've not won 2 trophies in a season since 2002.
Yeah. The last league and cup double. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I remember. I was there. But and yes, I'd love to see that again. I'd love to see us picking up trophies. That's what we're here for. I think that's what they're aiming for. Otherwise, what's the point?
Exactly. I'm just putting this comment up.
Yeah, no, I read it. I heard it. And look, I don't think that we are Tottenham in red. No, I think we're far better than that, actually. Sorry, Harry, mate. Lots of love to you, but no.
Yeah, it's a good. I will say one thing about Spurs. They do have some very nice fans. Like I know a couple of Spurs fans in my life, and they've been very nice people. So,
well, that's tremendous. Lee, if Arteta doesn't win silverware, you're telling me that's acceptable. So, all right, let's have this discussion again, shall we, everybody? Yeah, ultimately, the game is all about winning trophies, and I understand that, right? But I don't think it gets you anywhere when you keep on suggesting. Sorry, I touched the mic. I didn't mean to. And the suggestion of firing the manager who's finished second in the league. I mean, what you even assist? I mean, the overreaction here. We've lost 1 game of the season so far. Why? Why the over? Don't interrupt me. I've told you. Just be nice and let someone finish their conversation. Thank you. Christ. Oh, good. He's muted. Thank God for that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all right. So football is a results business. It's win trophies, right? But look, it's not as easy as that, is it? If the game was played on paper, as Bertie said earlier on, oh yeah, it would score 6, 7, 8 goals all the time. It doesn't work like that, does it? Look, we came jolly close a couple of times now, and after one result, look at all the comments and stuff. It is not over yet. Crikey, we're not even in November yet. Premier League is a marathon and not a sprint. Let's see where we are, shall we? Let's see what happens. If you're calling for Mikel's head after one result at Bournemouth, I think there's a real problem there.
It's not one result, it's 5 years. And 5 years and only winning one piece of silverware is not exactly, when you keep saying trust the process, trust this project, and you've won one trophy in 5 years, it's not a good look. This is what I mean by that. We are essentially, like, if we didn't win that FA Cup, we really would be Pochettino's Spurs. We really would be. And if we lose to Liverpool, and if City win their game, which I think they will, against Southampton at home, then both teams, I think, will be 7 points above us in October. So, yeah.
Don't look. I understand your worst case scenario. It doesn't necessarily go that way, does it? So I think we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. If we just say,
we'll see who's fit. See who's fit in our squad.
Well, if need be, I'll throw down. I'll be there.
Excellent. We need that. Leonaldo.
I mean, look, I keep on getting comments on the channel, right? And if you can't see progress, and if you can't see what we're trying to do, there's only a certain amount I can keep on saying, isn't there? Sometimes you can't please some people, can we?
I just don't. We do have to win something this season. Like, I'm sorry, we haven't won anything in a while. If
I agree.
If we want to see progress, we win something. Then it would be progress from last season.
If you want to see progress, you need to see wrestling, mate.
God, don't really want to discuss the British wrestling scene for obvious reasons, but yeah. Look, I think that's it from me. If there's anything else you want to discuss, do you want to speak about Jack Wilshere? Because he's left the club, hasn't he?
Yeah, we'll speak about him briefly. Obviously, he's taken up his position up at Norwich City. I don't think he's actually the manager. I believe he's taken up a position as a coach, and that is a step up for him as in his career. At 32 years old, obviously with his playing career curtailed as it was, I think it's a great opportunity for him. I do want to wish him well, as did Emerson Cozier when he did the video for us yesterday, which I put out at half time. What else can I possibly say? There are a couple of things here. Like certain fans said, we scored the most league goals in the Invincible team. The big difference is the Invincible team won the league. Yeah, and we are in like sort of mid October near, and we are, we've had one loss in the league, and you're putting a lot of stuff on Arteta, and when maybe a couple of the playing staff need to be looked at a little bit as well. And Saliba is his first red card of his whole career, I believe.
Mhm.
He made a challenge because he felt he had to. He mistimed it, and okay, you make mistakes and you move on from it. Hopefully, let's see how he learns from it. Yes, he'll become a better defender because of it. Hopefully.
And you talk about if you can't see progress, I get your argument there, but when you see, here's a good example. When you see our former manager, Arteta's predecessor, take his club that was relegation candidates to winning all 3 games in the Champions League, including a win against Bayern Munich in the space of what? 3 seasons? Technically 2 seasons? Yeah, 2 to 3 seasons. And you just think, hang on, I'm being taken for a fool here.
Do you remember his reign at Arsenal? Do you?
I do. I always said he was the right manager at the wrong time. But to be fair to him, if you can take a defence of Mustafi, Kolasinac, Socrates, Rob Holding to a Europa League final, that's quite ambitious. But
people weren't even showing up at the stadium, mate. And AFC always. I see your comment, and I'll put it up there. I'm not here to chat about not in the chat to argue with you. That's not what I'm about. It's opinions. Yes, and opinions are always welcome. Honestly,
what it's all about.
It is what it's all about. Me and this man here had words yesterday. Didn't we, Posh?
We did. Lovely chat.
We had a lovely chat yesterday about how the chat along went on Saturday.
Oh, lovely.
And as a result of that, I think I'm doing it solo on Sunday.
We will ask in the group chat. I don't know. Sam Wilson.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
But look. This is what the YouTube forum's all about. It's all about having opinions, and this is what this is. This is a debate, basically, isn't it? It's a debate that's actually gone on about 25 minutes more than I wanted it to, because I wanted to be watching the Liverpool game right now. But if you wanted to talk about,
you're not missing much because it's 0-0 at the moment.
Okay, cool.
Man City are beating Sparta Prague 1-0. But yeah.
Oh, okay. Boring. But what I will say is I did spend a little bit of time this evening watching a little bit of Celtic hold out quite heroically, actually, against Atalanta. And I believe that ended goalless as well, did it not?
So there we are. We drew 0-0 with Atalanta and Celtic drew 0-0 with Atalanta.
Exactly. I mean, lessons to be learned and all that sort of stuff, right?
Good old Brendan.
Yeah, Brendan Rodgers. Bring him up and we score. But look, this has been a fun sort of back and forth.
Yeah.
In summing it up, look, I understand frustration a little bit, right? I do get it. Ultimately, we get further in the competition. Look, we won't even remember what happened yesterday. It was an important win. Yes, it was still a win because last time I checked, we got the 3 points at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to need to improve dramatically on Sunday, and you know what? We are very capable of doing so. Whether Saka appears or not, and there's some reports saying, like off Arteta, saying, "Oh, I don't think he's going to play," and there's other people in the Twitter sphere saying that oh, he's going to be playing, he'll be fine, and maybe he's been rested as a caution. Look, I don't know. We're not there. We don't know where it is. All I can say is it's going to be a hell of a game on Sunday. I would certainly be there, even if it's just me and Mrs. M and Amy. We are going to be here on the channel. So look, I hope you can join us then.
I hope you're being sarcastic, Russ Morgan. I just want to finish in the top 8. I want to finish top 20. Top 20.
in the Champions League is what he means.
Oh,
in
okay. I thought you
in
meant the
that
league
group.
thing, I was
In
going to
that
say.
group, you've got to remember this group thing is very confusing. I tell you what,
it's
from an
League,
old
so.
timer like me, it's doing my head in. I don't like it at all. Are you a fan of it, Paul?
No, it's the
I'll ask
Super
you
League.
that. Are you?
I've said it's basically yeah. It's the closest to the Super League they can possibly get.
Yep. I actually agree with it and agree with what you said there, because I actually think the groups of four are very much easier to manage, certainly in terms of qualification and stuff. I think it's a mess, honestly, and I honestly hope they revert to the old system next season. Whether that'll happen or not, who knows? Brendan Arteta is a nearly man that won the league.
Yeah.
In fairness, Brendan did win the SPL, so
yes, I think
say his name and we score. So that's the catchphrase.
Yeah,
Natalie, hello.
We were just about to leave, I'm afraid, but it is still good to see you.
What I would suggest to Natalie and anyone who might be just jumping in, go back to the start of the stream, and you can see the whole debate where we kind of go through it. To be fair, in parts gets a little bit heated, but ultimately what we're here to discuss is Arsenal, and we all have the same idea in terms of wanting to see us do well.
Would Mikel Arteta win the Scottish League? Mike McTeta, would he win the league, the Scottish League? He played for Rangers, didn't he? So he's got experience in Scotland.
He has got experience in Scotland. That is very true. My granddad's side. Would he win it? Yeah, I mean, if he took this Arsenal side over to the SPL, we'd smash it.
Yeah. He was Celtic manager, yes. I mean, Ange Postecoglou won with Celtic, so.
I always win it, mate. I always win trophies.
We'll see about that. Imagine if it's if the FA Cup or Carabao Cup final is Arsenal versus Tottenham.
Well, I
really would accept a performance and a result like against Shakhtar if it meant we won that.
If that happens, I will have 3 words.
Ooh.
Just bring it.
Oh God, imagine. Anyway, I think it's time for us to head off. You can find me on X at Posh Bertie. My Instagram's at Bertie Warness, and I run Gooner Gathering's Instagram account, which is at Gooner Gathering, where we, or in the Liverpool game's case, Lee Meadows watches Arsenal, so you don't have to. I will be watching the Liverpool game, just probably not live on YouTube because I don't want to get this channel taken down if we drop points.
I wanted to give you the opportunity to, if you wanted to say anything before we wanted to go off air, Posh, about Saturday. Is there anything you wanted to say?
I hope Saka is fit enough to start. If you smell what Bertie and Lee are cooking, there we go. We are cooking, as the cool kids would say. I hope Saka's fit enough to start. I hope as many of our good players are going to be fit, like Calafiori, for example, is fit enough to start.
Yeah.
Because if not, then again,
I'm a left
Party, Kivior and Zinchenko in a back four with Gabriel.
Dreams can come true.
I mean, we talk about heavy lifting. Gabriel's he's gonna probably have an injury of back pain from carrying that entire back four if that happens. Oh yeah, I think we're about to see some pretty tense times on Sunday.
Maybe so. But you know what? I'm looking forward to it, and I hope everybody in the chat, if you're watching live or if you're watching on demand, join me for Sunday's game. It's going to be a laugh, one way or the other. That's what it's all about here.
Surely, if Saka is not fit to play, don't risk him playing for Liverpool. Again, we'll see if he's fit enough to play. I personally think he'll probably be on the bench.
Are any of us privy to the medical details
No.
regarding Saka? No, we're not.
And Arteta always keeps himself to himself when it comes to medical stuff. He always likes to be cautious, which is fine because you don't want to give away anything.
Absolutely. But yeah, why should he? Natalie, when to next time? When's another stream? Well, the best place to find that out is checking our X page at Gooner Gathering. There may be a chance we may be doing something tomorrow. In the guise of being a guest somewhere, but until that's official, we will we'll let you all know. I certainly will keep you up to date on Twitter X. I will certainly be around on Friday, because what I will do, I'll put about a 5-minute video of anything that comes out of the press conference as a pre-record. I'll certainly guarantee you that. I believe if Emerson's still about, and normally the youth teams will play on the Saturday, Emerson will do something there, and I will guarantee I will at least be here. If it's not a one-man show, it will be a 3-person show, because Mrs. M and Amy will be around. So look, I will.
Porsche Bertie.
Porsche Bertie might have the mic as well. You never know. But yeah, what I will say is we appreciate all of you for coming along and watching our nonsense for just over an hour. Just to finish off, at Gooner Gathering is where you can find us on X. At Goonerly Meads, if you want to get in touch with me, you can do that as well. You can check out the TikTok as well, because that's when we put up the fun clips when they're suitable.
No copyright strikes.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
You know where else you can find me? You can find me down the Gardeners and Chelmsford and Springfield on Sunday when we do open mic night, and I'll be playing my guitar and I'll be singing. So if anyone's around Chelmsford and Springfield, come round to see us 7 o'clock at the Gardeners, and we'll have a jolly good night.
Excellent. Let's just hope we don't get about 20 minutes of added time. So you in the Liverpool game, we don't want you to be late.
Oh, it's exactly right. At least I'm not hosting this week. Back to Nigel.
Well,
yes,
then.
we are done now, guys. So thank you very much for watching. Posh is going to press the button to say we're out of here. Thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.
Love you. Bye.